Welcome, everyone, to our Confessions of a Plant-Powered Sisterhood podcast, where we discuss
sex,
life,
and aging
through our 40s,
50s,
and 60s.
Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about the holidays, navigating how we eat, the family politics, the interactions, and all of the good and bad that comes with getting through this time of year for the next few months. So who wants to start?
I can start.
Yeah.
So I just, it's been a journey, I have to say, because when I first went plant-based, I didn't really think far ahead, like, oh, so what am I going to do when the holidays come about? I was just doing it. Right. So I'm immersed in what I'm doing in my daily life, but I didn't think ahead. And so it's always been a challenge, and it continues to be a challenge more so. But I think that in the beginning, I was very amenable to doing, two types of meals where I'd still make the turkey, but then I'd make all the sides, and then I'd make something for myself and my husband. I'd make a lentil loaf or whatever that was, with the idea that eventually I could turn everybody to eat my food, which worked in some situations, but then didn't work in other situations. And it was really interesting to see, because I would get these people that would come for, the meal or whatever, and it would be friends or some family members, and everybody would try everything, which I was always impressed. But sometimes they wouldn't say anything about what they tasted, and then some others would be like, wow, this is really good. So and over the years, and finally one year I just put my foot down and said, that's it. I'm never buying another turkey, not cooking turkey. I don't want any turkey in my house. Nobody can bring it over. That's it. And my family adapted to it. But when we go to other people's for Thanksgiving, we always bring all of our food. And and then everybody's there is like, oh, do you want to try? Oh, that's right. You can't. I love this. You can't eat this. Like,
yes,
no,
I can.
I can eat it very well. I just choose I don't want to eat it.
Exactly. This is not food to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me, I struggled with it for a while. And so someone else would always bring the turkey, but I'd make everything else vegan. And I didn't do healthy food. I did just vegan food, not like whole food plant-based. And then one year I was like, I can't do it. I just don't want to, we're celebrating, and we're giving thanks, and I just don't want a dead animal in the middle of my table for that, because I always host it, and we have other family members that come over. So I was like, no, I can't do it. So I gave everybody The Power of Now or A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, put it all on their table. And then I read a passage from there, and I'm sure they thought I was all the hippie, but and then I was like, okay, and they're all like, this was so good, this was great, we didn't miss the turkey. And then I find out later that my family members just had it the next day at their house, and I was like, oh,
at least they were nice about it.
Yeah.
No, but I was like, I don't know, it's very torn. I felt like I'm pushing my ideals on them, and then they didn't get to have, my brother-in-law, it's his birthday too. So it's like, I felt like, am I ruining his birthday? Yeah. And it's like, I don't like to force it on anybody, because I feel like then they reject it. So I'd rather people come to eating plant-based more on their own. I don't know. But yeah, so now I just do plant-based, but it is a little bit healthier too. But I know that when we had the restaurant, we had where we ton of people would come and pick stuff up, and it was really useful and helpful for people that were vegan, because then they could just take that with them to their dinner with the family, and then they didn't have to cook or anything. So I think that's another good alternative, is to order a Thanksgiving meal from a vegan restaurant if you have that available to you, and then take it with you.
Yeah. But that's what we did last year when we were in New York City, and we were going up to my brother's for Thanksgiving. We ordered from Whole Foods in Manhattan, and then we picked it all up on Thanksgiving morning, and then brought it all with us
Oh, how nice.
upstate. So we had all the food already because I was thinking, how are we going to do this? But so I agree with you, Brooke, that that's a great idea, is to get the takeout that,
Mhm.
really it's very helpful and helps take the
Mhm.
burden off you, putting the pressure on you, trying to come up with some imaginative plant-based food for the holiday.
And that would help like meat eaters when they
Mhm.
have a vegan relative or
Yeah.
guest too. That would be a big deal. I
Yeah.
think this is interesting. I wanted to listen to y'all first because we're doing our generational thing. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
what was going through my mind is like, we're all at kind of different stages. And like,
Mhm.
Patricia, like you are the matriarch of your
Mhm.
family and you are in charge. I
Mhm.
am still, our Thanksgiving dinner looks different depending on where we are. But
Yeah.
when we're with my family, I'm still the youngest daughter. Right. I'm the youngest child of 3. Nobody listens to me. Like they've been doing big Southern Thanksgiving, I mean, long before I was around. And I'm just lucky to be a part of it. Right. And and I was thinking, I was like, but one day I'm gonna be like Patricia. I'm be like, I'm in charge. I'm, but I was thinking about that because my mom, and so we sometimes we just have our kids, like our household, and that is like whole food, plant-based,
Mhm.
and I love it, and no one complains. We're all on the same page and everything. But then probably every other year we go to one of my parents, and then we get into the whole dynamics, and that's what's happening this year. My mom informed me like, hey, dad and I are coming to your house for Thanksgiving, and your sister and her family are coming. And
Uh-oh.
they don't eat, nobody eats like the way that we eat and teach. And she's like, we know you can't do the meat, so we're just going to bring the meat. Like nobody's asking yet. They're just like, we're just going to bring the meat.
We're just
And
going to
then
bring.
you bring, you do the sides. Oh, and we'll bring dessert too, because you can't have dessert. I was
You
like,
can't.
dessert. I can make delicious desserts. They still see me as like
Yep.
this little girl, who
Yep.
didn't cook when I was growing up. And anyway, so my conversation just
Wow.
yesterday with my mom, this famous, like our family's dressing recipe is coveted and it's everybody's favorite thing. And she's like, she knows I don't eat chicken. There's no chicken in it, but it's made with chicken broth. And we're going back and forth. And she's like, can't you, like, I was getting all this resistance. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to eat the dressing. Nobody in my family, we're not going to eat the dressing. Can't you do it with veggie broth? And well, it's great grandma's recipe. It's got to have the chicken broth. And so there's all this like resistance. And then finally I was like, Mom, it's not my personal value. I was like, I'm not even asking you for my personal values. I'm saying, I haven't had chicken in 18 years. I'm going to get diarrhea if I eat it. And then she was like, oh, well, then I'll make it with veggie broth. I'm like, well, why wasn't it enough? Why wasn't it enough just when I was saying
She's
that?
not going to make her baby sick.
Right. And it's, like, and I was like, Matt, and then I threw Matt in there because that's much stronger. I don't know why they care more, but I was like, Matt's stomach's really going to get upset if you, oh, well, then we'll use veggie broth. I'm like, well, then why wasn't my reason before enough? But I think what I struggle with in the holidays is that it's so many dishes. I'm
Yeah.
used to at home, like we'll make a big soup or a stew for dinner,
Yep.
but on Thanksgiving it feels overwhelmed. Like I can make it all plant-based, but honestly, I don't want to make 6 or 8 dishes. I just straight up don't want to do it.
Yep.
So I find myself when we're not like with the parents or extended family, I just want to keep it simple because I don't want all these. I know they're lovely to have, but I'm just not in that
Yeah.
stage of life right now to be doing 8-course meal.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to change it was kind of like with breakfast. I had to change my definition of breakfast. What I eat now looks foreign to some people. And that's kind of how I feel about these holiday dinners. It's like, well, hold on. I know what's expected. I know what's tradition, but is that really what my family wants to eat? Or are they
Yeah.
happy with like a big chili and some cornbread and,
Yep.
so at Thanksgiving dinner this year, because they're coming, they're bringing the meat and we'll have healthy sides. And my kids, they don't, I mean, I think the idea of like putting meat on the plate is foreign to them because they're used to just eating sides all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which are really mains.
Yeah,
The sides are really mains.
Yeah, I know. It's that whole like.
So it's funny when you said that I'm the matriarch. I'm only the matriarch in my house when it's only my family. When I go to my family, because I'm the youngest girl, but the middle child, I have 2 younger brothers. nobody's listening to me.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh yeah, there's the freak from Texas. Yeah, she's bringing her freakish food, and just keep it over there, because we all have our idiosyncrasies. You know, my brother can't eat certain kinds of food anymore because of his stomach, but you know, nobody wants to hear that maybe a plant-based diet could help you. My other sister is a vegan, but she has celiac, so she can't eat any gluten whatsoever. And then the rest of everybody else is just a crapshoot. Like they eat whatever you put in front of them, and you know, meat and seafood and all of that. So it is just like what you're saying, is depends on who you're with. And then, but I always carve out my space. Like I refuse to, but it's always that comment, oh, you can't eat this. Oh, that's right, Patricia can't eat that.
Yeah, like there's something wrong with you. Like you have a
oh, you poor thing. Like they look at,
or something.
I think some people in my family look at me like, oh, you poor thing. You can't eat like the rest of us. And it's like, no, that's a good thing. Like I'm still alive because I don't eat like you guys, you know?
What do you guys consider the perfect vegan Thanksgiving meal?
Ooh. Well, I make a vegan version of the dressing, which is considered a sin. So that mashed sweet potato, I do the PCRM sweet potato pudding recipe with like oats in it, and I toast. It's so good and it's so healthy. And then I toast some pecans and drizzle them with maple. Put that on top of it to replace all the marshmallows. So that's really good. I do miso green beans from I'm trying to think, I love her macrobiotic chef. It's white miso green beans. They're fabulous. Everybody loves those. And then I do get, I mean, if you're asking like what's my ideal, I still make my great grandmother's cream corn. But I use the vegan cream cheese. I know it's not healthy, but it's just like a comfort food for everybody. And my parents will eat it, surprisingly, when I do it vegan, because it tastes exactly the same. And then I make a pumpkin pudding with tofu. I don't really get into the lentil loaves, and I never felt a way about turkey, but I found that like my husband did, and he loves like the turkey sandwiches and stuff. So I actually do sometimes like the field roast or like a tofurkey because the flavor is good. And he likes to make it, and it looks like it. That's important to him, that it looks like Thanksgiving dinner. So I think that's mainly what we do. And I love, I never liked doing this before. Cranberries. I like to take fresh cranberries and cook with those. So I make a salad with fresh chopped up cranberries in it. It's so good. And like jalapenos and oranges.
That sounds really good.
I know. I love it when I have time to cook.
There's something similar. I do a cranberry relish with fresh cranberries and then chopped up oranges and with pecans in it. It's really good. I make a lentil loaf. I've always done it. I call it the Thanksgiving loaf, basically. So that sounds better for my kids. So it's a Thanksgiving loaf, and I make real mushroom gravy. And then we make mashed potatoes always. I always have sweet potatoes, really, for me. I don't think anybody else eats them. And then I do make a stuffing, and every year it's a little different. And I really use so my father used to make the stuffing, and he'd be in the kitchen. And that's really the only time he was in the kitchen, other than Sunday mornings, he'd make us all eggs, right? Eggs and bacon. Wasn't that great? That's why he died from a heart attack. So he made us bacon and eggs. But anyway, every Thanksgiving morning, my father would get up really early, have the big turkey in there. He's washing it in the sink. Oh my God, I think about the germs. And then he makes the whole dressing, and it's always been this big secret, right? And so we're always like spying on him, like, what's he putting in there and everything. And so... And then he copied down the recipe for me once and gave it to me. And so then I was using that when I was not vegan and making his dressing. And, oh, wow, this is so cool. So then once he died, I happened to get a bag of the Pepperidge Farm stuffing mix. And on the back of the freaking recipe, on the back of the bag is his recipe. So it wasn't his recipe at all. It was the Pepperidge Farm recipe that we all thought was Dad's favorite, secret recipe. It's like, oh, he just used the back of the Pepperidge Farm bag because it all came with the breadcrumbs come in that. So I do make kind of the version of that. I make apple pie, but it has vegan butter in it. It's my husband's favorite because I make it with a with a sugar cookie crust. And that's really why he married me, because he wanted that pie. And
It's
so
his
I do,
birthday
Yum.
too, right?
well, on some years, because
Yeah.
it's every day, every year it's different. So this year his birthday is not on Thanksgiving, which is good. But anyway, so what about you, Brooke? What do you do?
I do a loaf, but
Mhm.
with Beyond Meat,
Mhm.
and I make it like a meatloaf
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
a really good glaze, like a
Mhm.
ketchup glaze.
Yep.
And I do mac and cheese, vegan.
Oh yeah, that too.
And I
Oh,
do
yum.
cream corn,
Mhm.
but with a cashew cheesy base,
Oh.
and French green
Green
beans
beans. Oh yeah.
with almonds and
Mhm.
like a mushroom gravy.
Oh, okay.
And then I do a mushroom gravy.
Yeah.
And I will also get those roasts. Like I like the field roast,
Yeah.
how it comes with the crust,
Yeah.
because my husband loves crust. I
Mhm.
can't eat it because it has gluten and I'm allergic to gluten.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
everybody loves
Yeah.
there are people that aren't vegan, they
Yeah.
eat it and they love it. And there's also like a ham that you can get that's vegan.
I
Mhm.
haven't seen that one.
Yeah. And a lot of times apple pie is accidentally
Yeah.
vegan.
In
So
Costco
I'll
it
just
Oh
is.
yeah,
buy
the
it.
Costco
Yeah.
one is.
I just buy it because I don't want to have to do
Yeah.
all the baking. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge baker.
Yeah.
And sweet potatoes, but
Mhm.
I get the vegan mushroom no, the vegan marshmallows and put
Oh
those
yeah.
on
Oh yeah.
with the pecans.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I go all out. Like it's not healthy
Yeah.
at
Wow.
all. Yeah,
That's okay. But you haven't killed any animals by doing
exactly.
it. Right. So that's good.
I think
Yeah.
I want to try your Beyond loaf because it's
It's
the
good.
lentils. I think that turn everybody off,
Mhm.
but I haven't really mastered like a vegan meatloaf, and I think it's time.
Vegan 20 cookbook, I have that
Mhm.
recipe in there. I think you have that.
I have
Yeah.
that cookbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegan 20 cookbook, I have that
Mhm.
recipe in there. I think you have that.
I have
Yeah.
that cookbook.
Yeah. I don't have lentils in mine. I just realized that's not
It's
the
not a lentil
lentil
loaf.
loaf.
Is
It's
it
not a lentil.
hearty?
Very,
Is it
it's very
like
Thanksgiving-y. It has all the
Okay.
seasonings, like the rosemary and the thyme and the sage.
Mhm.
And you bake it like a loaf. And
I think I
like
might try that
crust.
this year.
Yeah, that's a
Because
good
now I
one.
don't like the vegan stuff is too greasy for me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But the field roast, I agree with all of you. My kids love
Mhm.
all that, and it's the
Yeah.
ones with stuff with cranberries too.
Mhm.
That one,
Yeah.
they really like that one.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
It is good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember my first Thanksgiving as a vegan, and I didn't know what to do, and I got like the tofurkey, and I was raised we inject the meat like with the Cajun injector,
Mm.
and so I got this little tofurkey, they're small like a football, and I was like injecting it with like the sauce. I remember my grandfather's like, what are you doing?
What are you
to
doing?
that rubber ball? It's the same thing.
Oh my
Mama.
gosh,
It's the same
that's
thing. It's
hysterical.
so funny. Yeah, but you
Oh.
can inject. I mean, just in case somebody wanted to know, you can inject it with like all the marinades and spices, and
Wow.
yeah, it was good.
It
Who
tasted
knew?
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it
Oh.
was good. Yeah, I don't know. I think for Thanksgiving, I think traditions are so important. Like so many people, when they think about the holidays, they think about food. And so I almost feel like, I go back to like my food addiction class, but I almost feel like it needs to be good, but they also are used to that like dopamine and stimulation. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And then that kind of solidifies the memory. So I do kind of go all out when we're doing it. Like we probably get more fat that day and more salt for sure, but
But
at
it's one
least it
day.
was plant-based. Yeah.
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 And at least you know that seitan has a lot of leucine in it.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was worried about.
Yeah.
I heard that's
Are
a
we
big
back to that
thing.
again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. I was sitting here worried about my leucine.
I think we need to have a song. Lucine, Lucine,
Oh,
Lucine.
that'd be fun.
I can't sing, but yes. Yeah, so I think, you guys, I think we all have very similar experiences, but there's a lot of ways that we have all shared that people can navigate those situations and what to expect, and not to have really high expectations that you're going to change the world by bringing your food over to your relative's house and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I see the light now. It's all very clear. But people do copy you.
Mhm.
So the more you model and not, protest and not go on and on about how great your food is, the better it is. If you just do it kind of in silence,
Mhm.
then people will be like, oh, what is that over there? I'll try that. And they're more receptive. Catherine, you said something about you don't like to tell people, what to eat and what they should eat. And I think it's really important that people have to come to their own, go their own way and figure it
Mhm.
out themselves. And then they're more receptive to it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm the most effective at the holidays, just being nice and cool
Yeah.
and just acting like it's easy
Yeah.
to eat this way. Like, what's the,
Yeah.
I'm not making a big deal out of it.
Yeah. I'm just
You
eating.
know,
I'm
like
just
it's,
here eating my meal.
yeah, look how beautiful it is.
And then they try. The biggest thing is just
Yeah.
making sure you have
Yeah.
enough,
Yeah.
because
Oh, I know.
I swear, like there'll be times that all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I don't want to be foodie because everyone wanted to try my food.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
gonna
always
try this
make
with
it a
your
lot of
loaf.
extra.
Yeah.
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 I love it.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap.
I think
Yeah.
it's a wrap.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Happy holidays,
Have a happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.
Yay. Bye.